Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome, my hands. How is everybody? I got my new smile on today. It's good to see everyone. I'm so glad you're here. I said hello to quite a few of you, but those of you that I have missed, hello to you, Gracie and Diamond Girl and Bonnie. Hello, Deneen and Maribel and Wendy. Hello, Jennifer. Susan Burke. I have two Susans, Susan and Gino and Susan Burke. Hello, Froggy. And hi, Tammy. Tammy Ress is here. Hey, Shad. I said hello to Rosie. I hope I did say hello to. Hi, Joyce. Patricia. Hi, there's Carrie. What's thinking? It's a little preview of what my new smile is going to look like. Hi, Lori. I'm doing really good. Hello, Lisa. I'm actually kind of surprised that I'm not hurting more than I am. I was quite a bit sore when I got through yesterday. And I started to get a little bit sore this evening, so I had taken a little bit of ibuprofen, but that's all. Thank you. Oh, thank you. So these are my temporary teeth right now. I had 6 crowns placed, temporary crowns put on yesterday. All the work has been done, so they are ready. They can do the bridge and everything when I after I get the teeth. They've done the impressions and all of that stuff, and I will be getting my regular crown teeth and everything in 3 weeks. So right now we're just going to be really careful and nothing sticky, nothing really crunchy, nothing, that will break anything or knock anything loose. And so, yeah. Is anybody knitting? Are you guys working on your blankets? And how many of you know anything about the case that we're going to be talking about? Hey, Chelsea, I didn't see you hop in. Hello. Did Chelsea hop in here? Lots of soup. Yeah, I've been doing soup. Actually, I was able to eat pizza tonight. I still have a few on the back that I can use. I just cut it up into pieces. Awesome. That's okay, Denny. Susan's been working on her blanket. Nancy, hi Nancy. Working on socks. Awesome. You know nothing? That's okay. So tonight we're going to be talking about the Delphi murders. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, if you go and you look anywhere on the web, you're going to see there's a ton of information out there. Okay, it's going to look like there's a ton of information. What there is there's a lot of interest. There's a lot of talk about this case. There's not really all that much more information. Okay. Oh, I have a hat that I've had to take out twice this week already, Tony. Oh. Well, the ones that I have seen are looking good. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, for this podcast, we are doing a year-long make-along. You can either crochet or knit. I would like people to try to knit. That's one of the reasons that I had started the make-along, was to get everybody to try knitting, just to knit a scrap blanket. Hey, there's Crystal from Ricola's Crochet Corner. Yes, this is the one, Lisa. That is the one. Well, they didn't go. They went missing, but they were actually found. Their bodies were found. So, yay! That's good, Rosie. I know, right? Good to see you. You are new to my channel. It's good for you to be here. And hello, Suze. You know too much? Right. Yeah. So let me just does anybody have any questions about the make along? So that it's like I said, it's either knit or crochet. We're working on. I have Mr. Fiber's blanket here. Oh, and before I forget, YouTube did another reset recently, and when they did, no, they did another update or something recently, and it has messed up some people's notifications. So if you will go in on when you're watching someone, check your notification and make sure your bell is turned on, because it has knocked some people's notifications from all down to modified or whatever that other setting is. So please go check. Oh, nice. That's okay. There'll be lots of other talk here. So I'm glad you're here. I hope I can make it interesting. Yes. Yeah. So see, that is happening. Okay. So I may not always see the chat. If you do, hi, Gabby. If you do have some questions, hopefully my moderators can tell you some more. And that way I can spend time telling you the story. I do have some needles here, and I have some yarn here where I can show you in a little while when we get up to a different part in the story. I can show you some different things that people were asking me about the last time. But for now, this is Mr. Fiber's blanket that I'm working on, and I'm about to add in this scrap right here. Hello, Laura. Okay, so this case happened in 2017 in Delphi, Indiana, and that is why they are called the Delphi murders, because they happened in Delphi. And Delphi is a small town they have less people in their county than in my county, actually. They have only 3,000 in their county. I have, at last count, there's something like 4,000 in my county. So this, Delphi is a little south of Indianapolis. It's the home of the Wabash and Erie Canals. In other words, they go through there, or they're close. And the girls that we are talking about are Liberty German, and she was 14 at the time that this happened, and Abigail Williams, who was 13 at the time that it happened, and they're known as Libby and Abby. Hi, Chels. Hi, Jeannie. Hi, Sylvia. Now, the girls, Libby and her sister Kelsey, who I'm trying to remember how much older. Kelsey was quite a bit older than Libby, because she was already driving when this happened. So she would have had to have been at least 15, 16. So she was 3 or 4 years older than Libby. And Libby and Kelsey were living with their grandparents. And the grandparents are Eric and Diane. No. Abby's grandparents are Eric and Diane Erskine, But Kelsey and Libby were living with their grandparents, and their mother was living out of town. She was away on a job. She was working, and the kids were actually living with the grandparents. So it was a different dynamic as far as parents. Now their father's name is Derek, and he was living with them. So he was living I'm pretty sure that these are his parents, and he was living with his parents and the kids. Now I know there was a lot of speculation about them, and we can get into that later, but there you go. So the girls, this was a day, February the 12th. Abby spent the night with Libby at Libby's grandparents' house. And the next day, they actually had a day off from school, like an extra snow day or something. So they had a day off from school. So it was unseasonably warm that day, which meant that the girls could go and, get out of the house and go do something. And they wanted to. They wanted to go. Libby went and asked her sister Kelsey, since she drives, if she would take them to the High Bridge. So this is what they called it. They called it High Bridge. And at first she told her no, and then later on she told her, yeah. She says, if it's okay with Grandma, you can go and I'll take you. And the grandmother said, yeah, you can go as long as you have a ride home. So you have to have a ride there, you have to have a ride home, and take your jacket. And yes, the Monon High Bridge. So they went, Kelsey dropped them off at the entrance to the trails, and were close to it, kind of across the street. Off of the state highway is where she dropped them off, which was not far from the entrance to the trails. And they like to go up there and take pictures, which is what they did. And we know that because Libby posted a picture of the bridge, and then a little bit later she posted a picture of Abby, where she had taken a picture of Abby on the bridge. Now they were dropped off. Now this is the best I could do for timeline on my own research. I do have another place that I'm going to go to here in a little while, and we can run through this timeline again to where it might make more sense to you. Hey, Cheryl. Yes, I am throwing, and it tends to happen to me that I get close to my paperwork over here. There you go. Oh, you're doing great, Cheryl. You're doing great. Come on in. So, the grandparents, their names are Mike and Becky. Mike and Becky Patty. And they got a call from Derek, the father, who he had been away taking some pictures for Becky. She has a real estate business, and he had been off taking pictures for her. And on his way back, he went to go pick up the girls. Well, the girls weren't there. They didn't answer. He actually phoned Libby's phone to tell her he was getting close, and where he was at, and she didn't answer. And then when he got there, he tried again, and she didn't answer. So he went out and went looking for them. When he didn't find them, he called Becky, and said that he hadn't found them, and he was, wondering if anybody knew where they were. Did he miss them? Did they get a ride, whatever? And she said, oh, so there's only two ways for them to walk home if they were to walk from there. And she checked both of those and didn't find them. So they got dropped off. This is the nearest I could tell you. They got dropped off around 1:30. At 2:05, Libby posts the photo of the bridge. At 2:07, Libby posted the photo of Abby. Now, these photos were posted on Snapchat. So at first, these murders were called the Snapchat murders. And then they got changed to the Delphi murders somehow. But at one time, they were known as the Snapchat murders. Trying to get the blanket around here where I can get to the next. Y'all have to give me a second because this thing is big. Okay, can everybody see? Yeah, everybody can see. Okay, good. Let me check chat here and see if you guys are following along okay. I did quite a bit of this research a few days ago before I went to have my dental work done. So I'm trying to keep. Oh, is Carrie? Hi, Carrie. Jeannie and the others that have come in. Good to see you. Okay, Jeannie T. All right. So when Derek called Becky, it was about 3:30. By 5:20, the family called the police and said that they couldn't find the girls. And about 6 o'clock is when the search party started. Everybody was out there. It was a huge, huge search party. And they searched and searched until they had no actual light, and the officials called off the search, and then a whole bunch of the volunteers said, no, we're not stopping. We're just not stopping. We're going to just do whatever we can. And so finally they kept searching, and on at some point, and I'm not sure right now what time, but someone asked, they were somewhere under the bridge or somewhere, and they said, what shoes were they wearing? And at that point, they found the shoes, and then it wasn't very long after that they found their bodies. On the 14th of February, around 2 p.m., the police held a news conference. They announced that they had 2 bodies, and they suspected foul play. They did not say that it was Abby and Libby because the autopsies had not yet been done. I'm doing good. On the 15th, by 12 p.m., the autopsies were finished, and at 3 p.m., the police announced that they could confirm that it was Abby and Libby and that it was now an official investigation. And they release a initial photo that, or sketch, or what, like a photo. I think it was the photo they released of what is called the bridge guy. So there's a guy on the bridge, and this photo came off of Libby's phone because they found Libby's phone. Her phone pinged, let's see, it pinged at about, I wrote that down somewhere, because the stuff for this is just all over the place. It's really hard to get this timeline down, you guys. Really, really hard to get it down. I may run across that in a little while. But they had pinged the phone. The problem is that the phone, the best they could tell them at the time, this was during the search, was that there was a 2-mile radius. So they knew within a 2-mile radius where the phone was. They couldn't really tell them exactly where it was. So they have not said how they were killed, Shad. They still have not said how they were killed. Okay. Then at some point, and I'm not clear whether it was on the 22nd, I do not believe it was. It was sometime between the 15th and the 22nd of February of 2017. The police release an audio clip. And the audio clip is supposedly of Bridge Guy. And at that time, they release a sketch of what they think he looks like. And then on July 17th, they release another sketch. No, April 22nd, they release another sketch and more of the video clip. They just little snippets. They just kept releasing just little snippets, but not much. It was all of that time between 2017 and 2019 before they even released anything at all. And they did not say how they were killed. They did not say, there was no cause of death. There's been, and there still hasn't, there's been nothing released as to how the girls died. So what I just told you right there is just almost everything until you dig a little bit deeper. And when you start digging a little bit deeper, then is when it becomes hard to know what is speculation and what is real, what happened. Because when I first looked at this case, that's all I saw. That was it. It wasn't until I started watching some other things that it's crime night. So I do have a couple things to show you guys. So let me see if I can get in here and share my screen. Okay, let's see. First, we're gonna do video file. Let me figure out which one I want to show you first. This is the one. So this is the website for the Down the Hill, the Delphi Murders podcast. They have an actual website. They have clips. They tell you different things. Here is the Bridge Guy. Okay, I didn't talk about this. I did learn a lot of information from several different places when I was listening to this that helped me confirm some of the stuff that I had already researched and already seen that I said was actually more official stuff. So I was able to confirm between, okay, everyone is saying these same things. And the Down the Hill podcast it's huge. It's just huge. And it's probably the biggest source for this case out there that has gotten the most attention. Let's put it that way. Here is. Okay, hang on. Let me go back. because I want to stop and show you. So that's the Down the Hill podcast, and you can find it now. I don't remember if I left links for this down below, but I can once this posts. The Delphi Murders podcast. They have an actual website. And that is Bridge Guy right there. And they have that is the video clip that they will show him, the little clip that the police released. Clips. They tell you different things. Here is the Bridge Guy. Here is the second picture. That's the second picture that was released, and they told everybody that to forget the first one, that this is the actual guy. Picture that went out of him. You can go here. You can listen to the audio and watch the video. Here. That is the bridge. Now this bridge, it is, the trails where this bridge is are actually about 1.44 miles long, and the bridge is about 70 feet in the air. It's 853 feet long, and the last train to have gone across this bridge was in 1929. Now this bridge, you guys, because it is so old and not very well traveled or whatever, except people, it's kind of a novelty with kids. Kids like to go out there and to walk on it, and little kids, big kids, lots of kids, anybody who's got the adventure to go and walk across this thing. But it's kind of rickety because it's lost several of its planks, so it's a little rickety, and it's not something that everybody's going to do. Here's the bridge. This is Abby and Libby. Stop for a second and show you what they look like. Indiana, Denise. Okay, Granny D, good to have you here. Hey, I'm glad you're feeling better and that you're here. That's awesome to hear. So there's a lot of stuff here that you can go and find from this website. So I just wanted, and here is all of the podcast episodes also. So you can watch the podcast directly from their website, or you can listen to it anywhere where you get podcasts. I listened to it on, I guess what would that be, on my iPhone? So it would have been on iTunes podcasts. And then there's also a video, two-part video that you can go watch. Now this is Dark Reality YouTube channel, and there are 2 parts to this documentary, which was an HLN documentary, and they have this in 2 parts. And so this is the documentary, visual documentary, that was put together by HLN, by the same people who did Down the Hill. So it's in 2 parts. You'll have to go and find both parts, but I will try to leave a link for that at the bottom. This is Grizzly True Crime with Gisela K. And if you go to her playlist, you will find that she has an entire playlist that is dedicated to the Delphi murders. And she's got some great hypotheses in here about different things. I learned some different things I did not know already, and so I encourage you to go over there and watch that. Okay, now this is a clip from the news, and I cannot remember right now. It's an NBC News, but I cannot remember the name of the channel. Yes, I'm doing voiceover, Denisha. Yes, I am. I'm working on it. I'm trying to up my game.
On February 25, 2017, Indiana State Police, the FBI, and Peru Police served a search warrant at a house in Peru where Klein was living with his father. That's 11 days after the bodies of Abby Williams and Libby German were found about 37 miles away in Delphi. Investigators confiscated a half-dozen phones and electronic devices. Klein admitted in court documents to using the Anthony Shots profile to communicate with underage girls and ask for sexual images. Court records say they found hundreds of sexually explicit photos and videos on the devices, many from locations across Indiana, including Indianapolis, Kokomo, and Bunker Hill. But court documents also say that Klein factory reset one phone 2 days before police arrived and deleted the internet history and social media apps from another phone before turning it over to police 2 days after he was interviewed. Klein was not charged until August 19, 2020. He faces 30 felony counts from 2016 and 17 for possession of child pornography, child exploitation, obstruction.
Okay, so I'm going to stop that. But this guy is someone who is in the hypotheses as a possible suspect. I personally don't believe that he is the guy. I just don't. Just looking at all that's going on with this, I don't. So I'm going to remove that right now. There's a little bit of stuff. Let's see. I think that I have another file. Let me see. Okay, this is the photo that Libby took of Abby. There is Kelsey and Libby. That is Abby and Libby. Now, this is the original mugshot. That's the original sketch that was released. And that's the second sketch. And there's that guy. So, okay. I get a drink, guys. Clear this. I had to clear my mouth just a little bit. Now, I could not find out anything about Abby's parents. I know that her mother's name is Anna, and they speak to her during the Down the Hill podcast. They do have her on, and they do talk to her, but I don't know if her father is just not in the picture or what, because I could not find anything on him. And they don't speak to her father, to Libby's father. They don't speak to him at all during any of this. I haven't seen anything with him anywhere. So when the girls, they got to the high bridge, and this is in the Mary Gerard Nature Reserve. And the Monon High Road, like I said, this is, I have another one here, if I can find it. Hold on. I can show you a little bit about why, because a lot of people are asking, well, why were these girls allowed to go and, let me see if that's not the right one. So this is the web. No, that's not it either. Not it. I should have named my clips, y'all. it's this one. Yeah, there we go. Here's a little insight into what Delphi is. It is the county seat of Carroll County. It's a home to a large network of parks and trails, numerous shops, restaurants, and a heritage and cultural attraction in their downtown area. They have their largest employer is the Packers Corporation. They have the Wabash River and the Deer Creek, and they are both important waterways that traverse the city. Some of these pictures from their area. This is part of the Erie Canal down here. They have an opera house. Let's see. Their population is estimated at around, in 2018, was 3,139. So that's roughly what it was when this event happened. They're off Highway Interstate 65 and US 421 and close to the SR 25 Hoosier Heartland Highway. They have the Norfolk and Southern Railroads. The median age of people who live here is 40.5. Their unemployment's fairly low at 7.1. The median household income here is at $43,327, which is pretty good. There are several biking and hiking trails. There are the Delphi Historic, the Canal Park, Trailhead, Delphi City, State Road 25, East Delphi, County Trails. These are the parks they have listed, which would be the Delphi City Park, Overlook Park, Riley Park Annex, and Trailhead Park. Trailhead Park is the one. It's located on off of 25, adjacent to Deer Creek. Now the entrance to here is where Libby and Abby were dropped off. There's picnic shelter tables. This bridge that we see right here, I believe, is called the Freedom Bridge. So the Wabash and Erie Canal connect here in Delphi. They have a museum, they have the camping, they have events there, tours, canal boat tours. Let's see. They have maps of the canal. So as you can see, there's an awful lot of this here that you're seeing down at the bottom is that Freedom Bridge. There is a lot of stuff, outdoor stuff, hiking and all that. So it was not an unusual thing that these girls did to go and do the hiking. I just wanted you guys to know this was a thing everybody went and did, was to go and do the hiking and do the trails. And yeah, like Lori was saying, that was a huge thing for that area. It's a big draw to have that much of a place where people can go and do things. I'm just tying a loose knot right here with my two strands so that they don't get so loose. That's where I added another color, and then I'll go back later and I will bury those tails. Now, if you want to on your blanket, you can just leave those, just tie them really tight and let them be a little string there. Mm-hmm. So the guy, I do want to mention the guy that I talked about, that I had on that clip. He's been on the radar for this, but they have not tied him directly to the girls, except he liked one of Libby's pictures. So that's really the only physical evidence that they have that links him. And it's the only reason his name came into play. But now there's been a lot of speculation after. The girls' mother, Libby and Kelsey, their mother's name is Carrie Timmons, and you will see her if you go to watch the Down the Hill podcast. The night that they had the search, they did this under the fire chief's command. They had the sheriff, the county, and Toby Lisenby, Steve Mullen, who was the police chief, and they had, and I don't remember the fire chief's name. But here it is. They pinged Abby's phone at 2:30 a.m. near the bridge. And then Libby's black Nike was found a quarter mile from the bridge on private property. And that's the one they were talking about in the clip. That's the property that they were talking about where they did a search on that property. Now, the authorities have been known to say, as far as news clips and those kinds of things, that they have more audio. They say they have more video, but they just have not released it. Hello, those coming in. Yes, and it is a possibility that that person was in the search party. They had a lot of people who they said were suspects, including one of the sheriff or the deputy or somebody there. They said that it was him. Somebody called in a tip on the tip line. Libby's cousin, and you will hear from her in that podcast. Her name is Mercedes, and her husband was called in on it. They said that he was involved, so they got looked at. The family, when nothing happened, where they didn't have a suspect or nothing happened, the family started putting out flyers. They drove flyers, they mailed flyers over the next few months all over the place. And then, like I said, the next thing that came out was in April of 2019. And that's when they had brought in the superintendent of state police, and his name is Doug Carter. And they had everybody that came to this press conference had to sign in. Everybody had to sign in. He released additional audio adding one word, because the first audio was 3 words: down the hill. Then they released a 4th word: guys, down the hill. And they released more of the video because they had released the photo from the video. Then they released the guy taking 2 steps. And they said that the new sketch, you needed to forget about the first sketch, and that the new sketch was the actual guy that they believed was responsible, and that he was anywhere between 18 and 40. And Doug Carter did this whole thing where he was speaking to the guy as if he was in the room, and he scared the you what's it out of everybody in the room, because they were like, is he here? We know you're listening. We're on to you. We've gone a different direction in our investigation, and you didn't expect us to do that, did you? And all this, everybody thought, okay, they're going to arrest somebody, because he left in a whole storm, and he's going to go arrest somebody. They still haven't arrested anybody. Nothing. There was a little clip where the sheriff said that there was not a lot more video and not a lot more audio, but that they do have fingerprints and they do have DNA. So if they find somebody and bring them in, they can compare the DNA. Now they this, as in most of the time, the police department came under scrutiny. And one of the things that the family was the most upset with was that they were bringing in bloodhounds out of Missouri. And when they found the bodies of the girls, they called them off. So they never did bring in the bloodhounds. And that has always bothered the family, that they might have found some sort of evidence that they wouldn't have been able to do otherwise without the bloodhounds. So now the original prosecutor stepped down. They got a new prosecutor, and he has spoken, and he said they don't have any, that it's not a cold case. He says that they have new leads every day, and they're still working this case, so they have not made it a cold case. The girls would have graduated in 2021. There was a lot of talk about how having all the volunteers come out and look for the girls may have contaminated the crime scene. Because, of course, people, like they were saying, people weren't going to stop and run off and go to the bathroom and come back. They probably, but I don't know. I don't know how much of that would have made a difference or not, but it certainly got trampled because they had over 300 volunteers out there. They had helicopters out there. They didn't have the dogs, and they did run out of light. Well, eventually they had to bring in, because they didn't even have enough, because of how remote this was, they didn't even have enough bandwidth to run all of the technical equipment and stuff that they needed. They had to bring in some mobile units to run the tech and stuff. So let's see. Okay. Yes. So that is, yes, Karen. So Libby, it came out later. Now I'm going to get into outskirts of this and what I have heard, and I don't know to be fact. I have told you about everything here that I know as far as what I found to be facts of the case. And that is most of it there. And then the rest of this is all going to be part of what I call the speculation and the hypotheses and stuff. But it's all really good. It's all very, very good stuff. It's just I can't confirm it at all. Yes, the police have not been very open. I would say that is absolutely true. And so, yes, so what is believed, and you'll see this when you go over and watch Grizzla. Well, I didn't show you guys my shirt. I want to show you my shirt too, by the way. So my shirt says, "Love doesn't hurt, break the cycle," and it is the Gabby Petito Foundation. I bought this shirt from the Gabby Petito Foundation. So I thought it would be a good one to wear tonight. And you can go over to the Gabby Petito Foundation and you can order something from them too. They have hoodies, they have all kinds of stuff on there. But yes, so what has been speculated about what happened was that the girls simply did just what they said, was that they wanted to go out and they wanted to go take pictures on the bridge. They had done this before. And when you started out on the one end, there's trails and everything. But when you got to the other end of the bridge, all the trails and stuff end. So a lot of the kids and stuff that would go out there, they would go to the one end and then they would just turn around and walk back. Because there's really no trails, there's no really anything down there, nowhere to go. Yes, there's always more to the story, right? The Gabby Petito story is what got me started watching Duty Ron. He covered it very, very well. And I'm very sad about the Orrin and Orson West case also. That's sad. Just terrible. Really terrible. Thank you, Frozen. So they think that the bridge guy probably was at the other end of the bridge, and that this is the hypothesis, that he came up onto the bridge, and that's when the girls noticed it. Libby took out her phone, she took the picture, and she started filming, and they later found that on her phone. That is what Owen and I wonder if I have the audio clip. Let me look just real quick, you guys, and see if I have the. Okay, hurry back, Jennifer. Let me see if I have the audio clip. Yes.
To the killer, who may be in this room, we believe you are hiding in plain sight. We know that this is about power to you, and you want to know what we know. And one day, you will.
Investigators also releasing more of that chilling recording from Libby's phone, believed to be the killer's voice.
That's what the girls heard. Yeah, lots of people come there to take pictures of that area too. You know, I'm sure the bridge was scary, and like I said, a lot of people would never have gone across that bridge, but some people, it would just be a fun thing to go and do. It is freaky. It is freaky. So here we get into all the speculation and all of the stuff that I can't confirm, and that is that they're saying that there possibly is as much as 6 minutes of the video. So don't know how much of that has audio. Don't know where on the video that clip was. Was it right at the beginning? Did something happen before he said these things to the girls? The speculation is that he had either a knife or a gun and was able to, because there's 2 girls, so would have had to been able to control both of them, which, you know, if you've got a hold of one, you can always control the other one, which makes me think a knife or something, because they're not telling us how they died. They're just saying the people who discovered them are saying that they don't ever want to see anything like that again. So they're telling us it's bad. They're telling us it's something different. They're telling us that there's all, but they're not telling us, and that I don't want to know all the great details. What I'm saying is they don't tell us how they died. And I don't know why that is important for them not to say, unless they just, it's so distinctive that they can't. Otherwise, it's something that if only the killer would know, right? You know. Yes, Shad, thank you for telling me about Grisella, because I have really enjoyed, once I went over and was able to sit down and watch some of her stuff, I've really enjoyed it. And I enjoy going over and watching Trisha at Web Sleuths also. If anybody can pull those links up for me for Grizzly True Crime, for Web Sleuths, for the other one, Alicia B, she's probably over at Duty Ron. But she also moderates for Murder Academy, and that's the guy who is the Scotland. He used to work for Scotland Yard, and he has talked about this case with Grisella. And then the Down the Hill podcast. I think people would be most likely to watch the video of it. But I mean, we can start talking now about any questions you've got or anything, because from here on out, it's all going to be pretty. Thank you, Denny. Probably going to be pretty speculative, but again, the Keegan Kline thing, honestly, he did something called catfishing. So he took another person's account, and it was called Anthony_shots. And the guy's account was a young, really good looking male model who's also a cop, who had no idea that his account had been phished. And this Keegan Kline guy, he used his account and talked to a lot of girls. And he, with that account, he liked one of Libby's pictures on Snapchat. Hello, Sandy. Good to see you. And that, like I said, that is really the only connection. Now, people online have been trying to compare his voice, and they've been saying that his voice sounds a lot like the Down the Hill guy voice. As far as the police say, that video of that guy on the bridge guy, and the second sketch, the two of those together, they say are your killer. And they believe that he is local. Lori mentioned that earlier. They believe that he is local. They believe that he knows the area, maybe even goes out there all the time to see if he can, watch the people, the girls, the whatever, For a while, they were saying that the guy's boots might be somebody who worked at the packing plant, that those boots were kind of like packing plant type boots. Is the doors locked? What's that mean? So yeah, there's a lot of speculation going on, and there is what has been brought up, that there were some more murders that were similar to these girls' murders, and that took place in Evansdale. Let me find it here. Those are called the Evansdale murders, and that happened in Evansdale, Idaho. It's like 400 miles from these. However, the thing that was interesting about those was that the girls were 10 and 8. They went out on their bicycles and they didn't come home. And then they were found in a nature reserve close to a bridge by a creek, the same as this one. Hey, Kelly. And so they're talking about the similarities. And they're also talking about that there's an anagram. So I put somebody to sleep over here. He's snoring. There's an anagram in the dates. So that particular one happened on the 13th of July of 2012. And that's like 7/13/12 is an anagram for 2/17, 17, whatever. Everybody's doors are locked. You're all creeped out now. Wait. Yeah, she does the maps, and that's fun too, where she does the maps. There was another part. I didn't finish playing all of that. Let me see what was left on that other one. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Whoever's messaging me, I can't see it because the phone is on. I think it's this one. Nope, not that one. I do have them all in a folder. Be this one. So
Age girls and ask for.
Oh, God.
Okay, here we go. The rest of this is a interview that. Now this is a article done by News Nation Prime, and it was an interview with the Indiana top cop, they say. He is the superintendent of state police. And they did a little this one there's a few minutes here left of this one, but I thought you guys might enjoy. Yes, big hugs to you too, Kelly. Interview with him. This was 5 years later interview.
Superintendent, we're on 5 years now. What does this case mean to you?
Oh, gosh, it would take me a while to explain it, but I think it's the totality of evil in my career, me personally. But the beauty of it is I get to represent some amazing, amazing people that have given their entire life to this. One of the last things I think about every day and one of the first things I think of in the morning.
Wow. What is the focus of your investigation right now, and what is the evidence telling you?
Well, I'm not going to talk about the evidence. I think we've done a fair job of doing that over the course of these last 5 years. There's been a tremendous amount of speculation, Rich, about what we know and what we don't know. I think most people's intentions are good when they've done their own courses of investigations globally. But I'm pretty confident in the place where we are right now. And eventually the world's going to know what we do. I still get between probably 25 and 40 direct tips a week right here, literally from around the world. Germany, Australia, of late, Italy, and then almost every state in the country. And, you know, I'll forward that up to our investigators in Carroll County. Tony Liggett from the Cass County, or from the Carroll County Sheriff's Office, Tobe Lenzenby and Jerry Holman and Dave Vito, or our Jay Harper, are troopers that are assigned to this. And it's just amazing to me that they have that same energy and the same gumption today that they did almost 5 years ago. It's an extraordinary thing to watch.
You say eventually the world is going to know. Does that mean you are close, in your opinion?
I think we're closer every day. We're closer every single day. The tips keep coming. And once that comes in, once that completes itself, then we're going to have to assign another 60 or 80 detectives to this and go back through every single lead that we've ever gotten. I'm confident that there'll be a successful conclusion for Abby and Libby, for Mike and Becky and Anna, and for that community. I'm confident that there will.
In December, you came out and said, you asked for the public's help and saying, anybody who's communicated with this Anthony Schatz profile on social media,
Right.
please get in contact. Did Abby and Libby communicate with this profile?
I'm not going to talk about that, but I am going to say that we learned a tremendous amount through that particular investigative course.
What can you tell me about this man who has been arrested, the creator of this profile, Keegan Kline?
All I can say about Keegan is that entire issue and the entire release has allowed us to glean significant investigative leads. That's all I can say about him.
I've spoken to some people who were involved in the investigation early on, and they say
That doesn't necessarily mean that the leads that they got were in this case.
that there's more. There's more video, there's more sound. Why not release more of that?
It's important that we don't show our hand, quite frankly, and very directly. We're not going to explain what we know about the killer. We're not going to do that. We're not going to explain some of the intricate details of the death of Abby and Libby. Unfortunately, one day we're going to have to, but then that's going to create a whole other issue with family and friends and the community and the like. So from an investigative standpoint, I'm not going to talk any more about it.
How can the public continue to help with this case?
Keep doing what they're doing. Keep doing what they're doing. I hope that this has brought a light, maybe even a glimmer of hope, to monitoring what happens out there from a parental perspective, a peer perspective, a relative's perspective, a neighbor's perspective, whatever that might be, because again of the way in which we have the ability to communicate. And finally, what I'll say to that is, law enforcement should never talk about what we think. We should only talk about what we know. And it's easy for someone else, for a person out there trying to do the right thing, to make what they think what they know. You see what I mean? And it's really important. I know you see it all the time. And it's really important, particularly as we face head-on a complete planet that's out of balance right now. And the vitriol and the negativity associated with every single thing we do. And it just breaks my heart, whether it's race, whether it's white or black or Asian or whatever. It doesn't make any difference. It seems that if we don't agree, we hate each other, and I don't hate anybody for trying to help us.
How important a piece of this puzzle is that video that Libby pulled out her phone and started recording. I mean, the wherewithal she must have had in that moment to do that.
Yeah,
is
I'm not
remarkable.
I'm not going to talk about that specifically, but what I will say about it is it adds, again, a little bit of weight to a very complicated murder investigation. So I'd much rather have it than not, I think, is how I'd respond to that.
So this is the Abby and Libby Memorial Park. They started this, I can't remember exactly when it was started, but here is where it's at. It is actually in Delphi. Here are all the things that are going to be at this park with a map. Those are all the places that have donated. You can still donate to this park if you want to. Okay, it started in May of 2019 with the groundbreaking. The walking trail, it's really they have new area going through, new walking trail. So you might go over and check this out. There's some of already parts that have already been done. They're already playing ball. So it's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Something positive. And of course, with that, hopefully they can get more people to come back to, visiting their area again, because, that was a big part of their life there, is having the tourists come and all the people that came, and, it is a really cool park. And you're absolutely right. And that is what everybody is saying, is how in the world, it infuriates me, because it's like, how are we supposed to help? How can they get more information if they don't tell us anything? Exactly. I'm right there with you. Yeah, and I understand that, but there's still more things that they could do. It makes me think that they just don't have anything. That the reason that there's not more out here is that's all they got. That's what it makes me think. It's all they got. Maybe that's what I'm supposed to think. I don't know. Okay, Lori, she had the doors locked. I know. We talk about some creepy stuff, huh? Yeah, he's always looked a little creepy to me. I'm like watching him thinking, well, he could have done it. Some of them, they're, like I said, there's a guy standing there that they had a mustache standing next to him, and they kept saying that he did it. The sheriff, they said he did it, that it was had to have been somebody. If it's somebody local, well, there you go. It's one of them. That's why we don't, there's been a lot of that. Hey, Laura. I know. It's hard to know, right, Chels? Is that it? Is that they don't have anything, or they have more than what they want you to think they know? Exactly. Do they just, they want you to think? It could be either way. But I'm going to tell you guys, I mean, you can dig, and you can really go off in lots of directions with the whole thing. Now, one of the guy from Murder Academy, his name is Stephen Keogh, I think. It's Keogh. I think it's Stephen Keogh at Murder Academy. And he was talking about, from his perspective, that he's really leaning towards the bridge guy having a knife, not being what he calls target. So I don't want to speak directly about what he said because I don't want to misquote him. But what I got from it was that if this guy directly came there to meet the girls, that it just doesn't seem like that's what happened. That it seems more like somebody that it was an opportunity and he took it. Yeah, you still felt a little creeped out. How do you say that? It is convoluted. It really is. And that was the thing. Yeah, we're glad you're home anyway. Oh, glad you're home safe. That's the thing about it. The whole thing was very, very convoluted. But honestly, when you think about it, that's what we got. We got Bridge Guy down the hill. Now, I've heard different variations of the recording. And I agree that on one of the recordings, it actually sounds like he says, "Girls, go down the hill." Or, "Guys, go down the hill." And that my mind goes there with it because it's like, here he comes for them out of nowhere because they didn't know he was there. And then he walks up onto the bridge and they're stuck because they're not on the end where there's any trails or anything. So here they are at the end of the bridge and he's pulls this knife and gets a hold of one of them and says, "Girls, come on, we're going down the hill." And you down the hill and over the Deer Creek to the other side to a area that was like in a holler or whatever you want to call it, down, a low spot, is where they were found. And it was a quarter mile from the bridge. So and I don't know that they were on this case. The FBI was on this case, but I think they handed it over to the state police. I think they're working together on it. Yay, they won the tournament. Aw, that's awesome. That's always awesome when they win their tournaments. So I did put the tip line. There is an email that the phone line, evidently the phone line has changed over the last few months. So I did put the tip line for the email, whatever, that you can, if you have tips, you can send something in. I'm pretty sure they were. I'm pretty sure the FBI was involved. I wondered about the dad until they said, and I'm thinking, oh, surely the dad wouldn't do anything, but you know how this stuff happens. Now they're saying that the clip of the bridge guy, that there's actually 43 seconds of the video. Yeah, you would think so. It took them 5 years before they released the one word. Good night, Carrie. I hope you have a good night. I know you're probably tired. You're probably off to bed. So sleep well. You got my cup. Woo woo. I think wasn't that I what did I put out? I put out a cup and I put out a t-shirt and a tote, I think. Canvas tote. But y'all, honestly, on that FBI question, I'll have to get back to you. I'll find out for sure. But I was thinking that they were involved in that. Some point there. Oh, yay, you guys are getting the merch. So are these the Stitching Crime? How cool. I'm so glad you guys like it. I just sat down and messed around with that. Right. Don't okay. I do have one other website here that I bookmarked. Let me see if I can pull that up for you guys. Hold on one moment here. Let's see. This may involve sharing my screen, which I'm not so sure. Let me see if I've got it. Okay, now let me see if I can do this. Y'all, if I lose you, I'll come right back. Y'all don't go away. Okay, here's my screen. Now let me go. So here, can you guys see when I do that? Can you see it? Are you seeing this timeline where Libby posts a Snapchat picture? Okay, cool. Because I cannot see the chat when I do that. I'm going to probably, what I'll do then, let me, may go ahead and take myself off over here. Okay, hold on. There we go. So Monday, February the 13th at 2:07 is when Libby posted the Snapchat. The first one was the bridge, and then at 2:07 was the one of Abby. Late afternoon is when the police and firefighters start searching for the girls. Sheriff Tobe said crew began canvassing the area, tried pinging the girl's cell phone into the evening hours, but had no success. They believed the girls' phones were either dead or turned off. This is more pictures. This is after calling off the search around midnight, search teams resumed searching for Abby and Libby. Volunteers joined police officers and firefighters searching the area around Deer Creek. And then on 14th at 1:50 p.m. is when they say, this was when the news conference was. So I'm not really sure what time they actually found the bodies. I can see y'all over here on my phone. And then on the 15th at 2:33, they had identified them. Then on the 6:50 p.m. on the 15th. That's when they released the picture of the man, the bridge guy. Just going through the timeline with you again. Friday the 17th. Hundreds of investigators join in the search. They get hundreds of tips. Extra law enforcement have been called in to assist, but still no arrests. They're not saying anything about FBI here. I know, a fresh set of eyes would definitely help. Several Delphi businesses began hosting fundraisers in their neighborhood with proceeds benefiting the families of the teens. The community says, oh, this was the memorial. That was on the 18th. Then on the 19th, the state police, they say the man in the photo is the prime suspect. The 22nd is pretty much the same timeline I gave you guys. Good night, Suze. Thanks for being here. Okay, so the Indiana State Police and the FBI held a press conference releasing, this is when they released the rest of the stuff. So that's when the FBI at some point did become involved. And then the FBI took over the Tipline on the 23rd of February. There's the billboards that go up. Community members lit up with orange lights. The command center. Which one? Who's keeping his head down? Yeah, I know, I saw that. Hey, Phil Guy. They March 1st, they post a reward, goes up to $200,000. That's the Indiana Colts punter Pat McAfee and team owner Jim. This will be interesting to you, Phil Guy. And team owner Jim Isray donated $97,000 to reward fund to find person who killed Abigail Williams and Libby German. The donation pushed the reward up to $200,000. Libby and Abby's family visit the command center. The Delphi Trail Safety Task Force is formed. Good night to everybody that's leaving me. I appreciate y'all coming in. So they kind of changed up things here. I'm kind of curious. See what this says. Wish I knew what they mean. Two young girls were killed. Let's see. The Trail Safety Task Force met for the first time to discuss plans to improve safety along the 10-mile path. Oh, interesting. Ursay McAfee. Okay, got it. You need to ask a local. They'll tell you how to say stuff. On March 9th, Libby's grandfather. Oh, I've not heard him speak. Y'all want to see this? Come on, where you at?
And then the of Liberty German, Mikepatty. And he also is going to read a statement on behalf of the family of Abigail Williams. They've provided a statement to him that they would like him to read. After Mr. Patty has finished talking, he is willing to take questions from you. However, we're going to do this. I'm going to step up and filter those questions for him. If it is a legitimate question, he cannot and will not speak about the investigation. if it's a legitimate question for Mr. Patty, I'll step aside and allow him to answer it. After he's finished with that, I will come up and talk and answer questions about the investigation. But I can tell you there is nothing new that you guys don't know. So I'm not going to tell you anything today that hasn't been put out over the last couple of days, but I'll be happy to answer questions and kind of clarify some of the rumors that you're hearing and things like that. So we're going to start right at 10:02. Does anybody have any questions? Is everybody's sound working okay? Test 1, 2. Okay, we'll get going here shortly.
Trying to skim it. Did we lose it? Well, huh. I was trying to skim it and then it left. That's like 27 minutes. I don't know that you guys all want to watch that. I don't know.
Pray that their response would demonstrate the love of Jesus Christ that has sustained them in the midst of the deepest and darkest valley.
Okay, we're almost
God,
to
I
it.
thank you for all these
Good night,
individuals who
Wendy
have come
Jo.
today to tell the story that needs to be told so that more tips may process and we can begin to find justice. Lord, we pray for justice here on this earth, but Lord, we also ultimately hold hope for justice on the other side, so that in all of this we put our trust in you. Bless them, bless their words, and allow us to tell the story in ways that give hope. We ask this in the name of Christ, our Savior. Amen.
Carroll County Sheriff Tobe Lesenby.
Is this one of the guys that was,
Good morning.
they thought was the murderer?
My main purpose this morning is to thank each one of you for being here. I also want to thank our community. And I want to send out a huge net of thank you to everyone that's even had this on their mind for the last few weeks. Without your help, without your involvement, we feel like that we wouldn't be where we are right now. We continue to move forward. We strive for justice, and we will get that justice. At this time, I want to introduce Mike Patty, Liberty German's grandfather.
Thank you, Tobe. I wrote down some stuff so I wouldn't forget what we'd like to communicate. My family put this together. So obviously my name's Mike Patty. This is my wife, Becky. We'd both like to thank you for showing up here today. I'd like to read a statement. I got to put my glasses on for this. Show my age a little bit. This is a statement from Abby's family. Abby and Libby loved each other. Throughout this tragedy, we have honored their memory by caring for and respecting each other. We respect Libby's family decision to speak publicly at this time, just as they respected our family's decision not to speak publicly, the family of Abby Williams. I would also ask that the media to respect their choice. Let them reach out to you if they so desire to do it. A little over 3 weeks ago, February 13th, our girls went missing. On February 14th, they were found victims of a double homicide. This horrible crime has torn a hole in our families that will never heal. It's the small things that seem to hurt the most. It's just natural to holler for them to come to dinner or in the mornings to get up and get ready for school. Then expect them to come through the door after school. The silence when we don't hear their voice. Our girls were excited about the upcoming softball season. Just the day before all this happened, they had their equipment out playing catch, working on their batting in the backyard, going to the ball field with Anna to hone their skills for the upcoming season. But they'll never get to play a single inning again. There are too many ways to count how our lives will forever be impacted to share here today. I imagine most people listening that have raised or are raising children know how kids can be. A phrase that was jokingly attached to Libby and our family, from asking her to pick up her shoes, her school backpack, her coat, her first reply would almost always be, "I will, in a minute." We joke with her about this all the time. I believe if she were able to speak, she would ask people, please give her the 1 minute she always asked for. To really study the picture and listen to the audio clip. Someone out there knows this person or persons. He's someone's neighbor, coworker, family member, friend, husband, or acquaintance. If and when any new information is released by law enforcement, please take another minute from your day to review all the information and help us collect the pieces of this puzzle. Both of our families are requesting everyone to please help Abby and Libby. Look for someone who's recently changed their appearance, cut their hair, shaved, or started wearing different clothes. Have they changed in some strange manner that just seems a little odd? If you think it could be, but then say, no, he's not like that, go with your initial instinct. Let law enforcement run that information and make that determination. However small it may seem, it is extremely vital to capture every tip we can get. Please, we need your help. At this time, I'd also like to thank law enforcement and officials, along with our employers, pastors, the people and businesses of this great community across the state, nation, and beyond, who have pulled together around us, providing help and support in so many ways. From fundraisers, food for our families and law enforcement, to the hugs, handshakes, kind words, all of these items help. But again, we're asking everyone to take 1 minute and study the picture and audio and recording information you may have to the tip or email line. We also say thank you for all the generous donations for the reward fund. To the individuals, groups, businesses, all of which are too numerous to name. A couple that stand out are Pat McAfee and Jim Irsay. With their donation, the reward fund is now well over $200,000. The other donations we've received in Libby's name have been utilized to establish a scholarship fund in her name. And the rest of the funds we hope to be used to build a softball field and park in the memory of the girls, so they'll be remembered forever and have something for everyone to enjoy. Now, I would like to thank the news media. I've had several conversations with many of you. Your professionalism and respect for our families has been honorable. We've lost our children, and nothing will bring them back. But through your persevering coverage and help with this investigation, we are confident that together we can bring justice to those responsible for this horrible crime. We appreciate your time and help. Thank you very much.
If anybody has any questions for Mr. Patty, now would be the time to ask.
Okay. Just going to kind of scan through here and see if there's anything else that we haven't talked about. Oh, they have some interviews that they did. So what I'll do is I will leave a link to this. Oh, who's this guy? Traveled to Colorado to interview the latest person of interest, Daniel Nations. Well, I hadn't heard about that one. Okay, I'm going to exit, remove, and it's just me. There we go. Stop sharing. I stopped it. That does bring a lot of the humanity back to this instead of just facts and all that kind of stuff. You know, when you see, yes, Daniel is still missing. His dad is still looking for him. Well, there is just so much that people, like I said, when you start looking at this case, I thought, oh, okay, I can go over and look at that. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I've heard something about this. And I didn't realize I'd actually listened to part of the podcast. So I will definitely put all of that down below. Once this is posted, I will try to get as many links in as I can. Some of them, Denny and the others have put in here for you guys. So, oh, he was, yeah. He's, what do you mean still missing? Shad said he's still missing. So I didn't mention, in case you guys were wondering, was there anybody else around? That brings me to that. Was there anybody else? And there were people around before the girls got there. Okay. So somewhere around 3 p.m., there's someone that they named the flannel shirt guy, David McCain, and he passes bridge guy on the trail, not on the bridge. He passes him on the trail around 3 p.m. Then David makes his way to the bridge and sees two girls, but they weren't Abby and Libby. So there were other girls out there before Abby and Libby got there, or after Abby and Libby got there. So interesting, because that kind of narrows things down timeline wise too a little bit. If you listen, and that is a fact of the case. Yes, Daniel Robinson, I think is his name. Isn't that right, Shad? That's who I thought you meant. That his father is looking for him. He's out west. His dad is, he's out in the desert, looking out in the desert for him, because that's where he disappeared, I think. Grisella has talked about that on Grizzly True Crimes. That's one of her cases that she's been talking about. And let's see. Trying to think if there's anything new. Can't think of anything new that has come up with the cases that I have talked about already. The twin boys I was talking about are the two boys that supposedly were missing from Bakersfield, and their names in the news, they have them as Orrin and Orson West, but their names are Sincere. The names the biological family gave them are Sincere and forget that the boy's name. Dagbert, I know it just doesn't come into me. Bless you, Mr. Fiber. Although he wouldn't be able to hear me from out here. Yeah, she has been following that Daniel case pretty for a long time. She also has some stuff on the two boys also. So they arrested the father, the adopted father, and the adopted mother. So the two boys, they were adopted out, and then they moved to Cal City near Bakersfield. And 3 months later, 3 months after they moved there, these two, the adopted parents, reported them missing. And there's been, for 14 months, there has been, oh, sorry. I will, Tricia, I will. I should send him a text. Everybody said, bless you. So for 14 months, they have been missing. It turns out they never made it to California, to Cal City. They never made it to Bakersfield. The whole thing was a ruse. The parents killed them, and they elicited the help of the children to do it. So they are now in custody, and they've pled not guilty. And that's where I am on it right now. That's how caught up I am on the case right now. Yes. It's bad. It's real bad. It's just, so Trisha's going to be talking about this case tonight on Web Sleuths. And you said at 9 p.m. So here in the next, we can hold out for a few minutes. We can go and do a raid over to Trisha's. Oh, yeah. Lots of evil. One of the reasons I like to cover and to talk about this stuff is, and why, like this one, the Delphi, this is really hard because it's not solved. And I hate the ones that they're not solved. And I like the forensics, anything they got that they can kind of like, like the cops that have, they find their clues and they follow the clues and they hunt down everything and they get there. In the end, they get there. Their hard work pays off and they get there. I even like the ones like 20 years later and they find out who it is and stuff. Lori's got her, now she's doing her knitting. All right. Yeah, there is a special place for them and we do not want to go there, do we? But, oh, hey, Julie, how are you? Probably about 9:30. Okay. Take care, Sandy. It was good to see you. I appreciate you coming in. So you guys, I was able to share my screen. I have not been able to share my screen with StreamYard. Part of the problem, evidently, is that StreamYard screen sharing does not like Firefox. It only likes Chrome. So I had to install Google Chrome in order to do the screen sharing. Who knew? I'm doing great. I'm going to be getting off here really soon. I've had dental work done, but everything went really, really good. For Web Sleuths, let me see if I can do it. Let's see if I can do it. Anything you can do, I can do slower. That's like my new motto. There he is. Here is Web Sleuths. Okay, so yeah, see, Keegan said that. He said that the cops told him he was the last one to talk to the girls. That's what that in his interview, that's what he said. He said he was the last one to talk to the girls through Snapchat. And Keegan said that the police told him that. So, I mean, and by the way, you guys, I have learned we don't say the words that go along with CP, child. We don't say those words here because it can get me in trouble and I get a strike. So we'll be saying CP. But I mean, do you believe this guy when he's a squirrely, awful, evil person himself? That's okay. You're doing great. Glad you're here. There's a lot of different, everybody believes something different in this case, and it's really hard to know what to think. It really is. There's some people that are saying, well, he had to have known they were going to be there. How else would he be there at the same time? Maybe he was just already there. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. We don't really have enough. They were also saying that if it was a serial killer, that there should be signatures, because most serial killers will leave a signature. They have an MO. They have a certain way that they do things that matches other scenes that they find, and they're like, okay, so these are all the same. We've got the same MO going on through these whole things, because there'll be these little signatures. There'll be some creepy thing that they do that falls into line with a serial killer. And they hinted around in some of the news stuff that that they might have seen some signatures on this one. Okay, so throw that in there, and we still don't know anything, No. Nope. Everybody says that the bridge guy looks like almost everybody else in that area. Dresses and looks like that's just how all the guys dress around there. So it's just, one of those things. Oh, thank you, Shad. I was showing my knitting. I can see if I can get my, things like tokens. Yeah, exactly. That's right. That's right. That was his thing. They were all different. Mm-hmm. That's right. So who knows? I can see if I can join up again here with my phone and show you guys some knitting stuff here, because I did have that out where I could do that. Mm-hmm. See if I can rejoin. I might be able to. Yes. Yes. That way. Plug it in, or it will go dead. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. 3 knit hats, What? Deneen, you're a machine. Deneen, the knitting machine. Oh my gosh. Okay, Nancy. Thank you so much. Oh, come on. You can catch up. I hope it catches up. I do know, and I sent him a little care package, and I've been keeping up. He's doing okay though. He's resting tonight. I knew he wouldn't be here. He really is on bed rest. He's not supposed to. He has been to the doctor. He's been to the ER. All of those things, and the church is checking on Miguel. His church family is checking on him. Yes, he does, and he may have some pneumonia in one lung. So, yeah. But I wanted to show, gosh, it's going to be weird. There it goes. There it goes. It got caught up. Yes, he will, because we say so, right? He's got lots of prayers. So I wanted to show you guys, okay, the different cast-ons and what they look like next to each other. So this one is going to be the long tail cast-on, where we put our hoop on there, finger in here, split it, turn it up like that, come over here, touch this side, bring it over here, touch to the side. This one, scoop that in there, and that is our long tail cast on. Good night, Patricia. So I'm going to do a few of these. I don't know what Mr. Fiber is pounding on back there. Okay, that's 8 of those. Now, there's another way to do this, which is you can take it and you can just your tail, not your tail, your yarn, your working yarn. Yep, but they are checking on him, and they have brought him, someone brought him something so he can check his pulse and his oxygen. So he'll be able to keep check on that. So take your working yarn, put over your hand like that. Put your thumb in between these two fingers to where you can turn it. Put your needle on there, you know, like in there, and just kind of loop it on there, in other words. However that works for you, just loop it on. Flip it, twist it over to the side and loop it on, if that makes sense. Yeah, and Pat's close. Okay, and then the next way is to do the knit. Oh, really, Julie? What do you mean? The long tail cast on, you've been doing that wrong? Okay, so the knit cast on, you put it in there like you're going to knit. Put your yarn over, and when you get your yarn from the center, you take it up, and you twist it, and put it on the needle. Yes, but I want to show you what it looks like, Cheryl. So needle goes in, Yarn goes around. And you get your new stitch right there. Take it up. I turn and then put it on. Some people give it an extra twist. I don't. I just really use the knit cast on for certain situations. I most of the time use a long tail cast on. Now I want to show you guys what this looks like, okay? There is a difference. Right to here is our long tail cast on. This right here is the one where we just twisted and put it on there. And this right here is the knit cast on. That's the front side. There are different, there's different methods of doing it. They're similar, but they are a little bit different. And this is what the other side looks like. So this right here is the long tail cast on. And this is the one where we just flipped it and put it on there. And this is the knit cast on. So they give the edge a little different look, is what I wanted you to see. You learned the knit one from Fiber Spider? What is it, Bubby? What is it? Did you see something? You heard me say spider. Didn't you? Did you hear me say spider? He came for the fly swatter. He thought I was going to use the fly swatter. Hi, Tank. I haven't covered my mouth one time since I've been on. Do I look different? So these are just the temporaries. I get my new ones in 3 weeks. Thank you. I feel different already. Well, that's okay. Listen, whether you're a new knitter or an old knitter, you're still a knitter. It's so different getting used to the feel of having teeth all the way across because, I had spaces. So they don't, my tongue doesn't go straight to those spaces like it did. And y'all, I got my whistle back. Went out there earlier and whistled at Cerberus, and it was like, ooh, that was a nice full whistle. Wasn't a, half a whistle. It was a full whistle. I know it. Well, I know I like them. Now, as far as eating okay, now here's one thing that happens I notice whenever I do the cast on where you just flip it and put it on. And that is right here, you tend to have this where they're not stable in their spots. So they tend to move around. Do you see that? So then when I go to knit that cast on, Now it's loosey-goosey. See, look how far apart that is. Yet, oh, I was talking about that. Orrin and Orson were 3 and 4 when they went missing, and they would have been 4 and 5. Yes. Oh, it does, Lisa, and thank you. I appreciate that. But I would, you know, if you look back at my videos now, when you watch an older one, you'll see I tended to cover my mouth a lot because of my teeth. "21 rows since the last stitch in crime." Not the knit cast on. The knit cast on is fine. See, like this right here, this one is the long tail cast on. And you can see there's something there. The one where you take, let me show you again. The one where you take it and you just flip it and put it on like that is really loose. It's a very, very, very loose cast on, which has its applications. I will tell you this, I use this cast on if I have to make up a stitch. So let's say for some reason I got across to the other end and it's like, okay, I'm not going to have the number of stitches that I'm supposed to have. I will sometimes make up a stitch by doing that. And then knit it and move on. Because, you know, I've used that towards the end when I'm casting on too, if I'm running out of my tail and I'm like, oh, I only need like 3 more. So I will use that tail and I will put one on like that, and then I will do another long tail, and then because I can get more out of it. One more row. Hey, one more row is one more row. That's right. We are looking for progress and not perfection. Let's see, is Web Sleuth on? I didn't look to see if she was on. Okay, so she says at 10:20 Eastern. No, 10:20 my time. So it's still going to be another hour or so, you guys. Okay. Is there anything else you guys want me to show you? Cheryl was talking about, oh, Cheryl, did you see what I got? Have you seen them? You guys, look what I got. Look what I got. Trying to get them to where they're just right. There we go. Okay, Danny, that's fine. You can always rewatch. Oh, Diddy Ron is on now? We need to go over there. We need to do a floozy raid. Let's see. Hold on. Let me find him. Y'all ready? Thank you all so very, very, very much for being here. I appreciate you so very, very much. Please, let's go over to Duty Ron and tell him that it's a floozy raid. I just have to say it. I love you all very much. If you have any questions or anything you want me to talk about next time, any ideas, just leave me a comment down below, and I will do my best to get all of those posts in there for you. I love you, Chelsea. I love you, Carrie. I love you, Solomon. I love you, Oliver. Y'all have fun today, and good night. I'll see you next time. And next time, I'm hoping to talk about Susan Smith. That is the one that I'm thinking I will talk about. So, good night, everybody. Love y'all.